In today's episode with Max, we cover all things mindset, marketing, TikTok growth, getting to 10K followers, as well as what it feels like to pack up your life and to move overseas for a year with 2 young children. We are so excited for you to dive into this episode. Max gets extremely vulnerable and raw with all the things that was going on for her, having a business that she had to shut down, moving into TikTok content creation with not a whole lot of a plan, but just a goal in mind that she wanted to reach, and she absolutely reached that goal. And looking ahead at all the opportunities that come from when you lean in, you trust yourself, you commit to yourself, and you make positive changes in your life with the right advice. Welcome to the Not So Kind Regards podcast. I'm Maddie Birdcage.
And I'm Caroline Moss.
We are done with the digital fluff and pleasantries.
And we're here to talk straight about brand building, digital marketing, and personal growth.
This episode is of course brought to you by Birdcage Marketing, the forward-thinking business growth and digital marketing brand that started this all. If you are a small, medium, or large-size business, don't know how to get started, or need to tighten up your digital marketing efforts, we are currently taking on new strategy and virtual marketing manager clients. Let us shape your strategy, give you the action steps you need to implement, and then hold your hand as you and or your team implement the exact process that will take you from where you are now to where you want to be. To get started, book your discovery call at birdcagemarketing.com.au, and let's do this. Now, back to the episode.
So excited to get into your story today to talk about kind of the past 18 months in your life, your TikTok journey, your journey to becoming a content specialist, kind of a TikTok maverick. Let's get into it.
All right, so I'll start back maybe just after I had my son 5 years ago. I have a 5-year-old son and a 3-year-old daughter. After I had my son, COVID hit, and in Mackay, a lot of people got money from the government, a lot of businesses and a lot of homeowners as well. So it became very busy in my interior design business because interior design is a luxury service. So when people got a bit more money, they decided to get an interior designer. So I needed to hire 2 people to help me, and I had my daughter in 2021, and that's when my business blew up. So I hired my 3rd person, and being a mum of 2, a business owner, a wife, my husband was working odd work shifts. I had such a crazy life, and I became really burnt out. So we were busy, really, really busy, but I just couldn't balance it all. In 2022, it became really noticeable that I was losing money in my business, and I was not happy. I had a lot of anxiety, probably depressed. I was overweight, and it just wasn't working out for me, life. And then we were able to book a flight to Germany for 4 weeks. And this was at the point that I was like, it's time to make changes. I am not happy in my life. I need to make changes for my family, and family needed to come first. And I wanted this business to work. I wanted to be a salesperson in the business, and I didn't want to just do interior design. So when we got back to Australia, I had to say to the girls that were working for me, it's not working out anymore, and I have no job for you. I was continue working a little bit, but we decided to sell our house, and we were able to get a bit of profit for our house, and we moved overseas for a year and lived in Germany. That changed me a lot, and I am a different person for sure.
Didn't have a problem bringing in new customers, but yet somehow the books weren't adding up and the profit wasn't happening. And I think a lot of people can relate to that story, that sometimes busy doesn't always relate to a profitable, successful business. Maddie, do you feel like that resonates with you as well?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Max kind of went through her entrepreneurial crisis only a few weeks before I started going through mine. My business was a lot bigger. It's not a competition. I'm 4 years older than her. I always like to remind her of that because she seems to just think that we're the same age, or she's older than me. But it was Max who worked from after she'd went through her crisis, that she was actually working from our office at the time. And she's the one that kind of gave me the courage to take action on pulling my business apart in order to rebuild it again. I think it is like we've seen time and time again with ourselves, with our clients, that as Caroline said, busy does not equal profitable.
So Maddie, you took the route of rebuilding your business. Max, you took the route of rebuilding your life. So you both kind of had to have a check-in with yourselves about your values and decide what action you were going to take along there, which is something we teach in the mindset in Birdcage Marketing School. Is the only way you can live the life of your dreams and find success on your own terms is by understanding your values. No one else's values, your values. And that looked completely different for two sisters who probably have very similar skill sets, creativity, all the things, but you took it in two different directions. So Max, you've been telling this story via TikTok, and that's kind of how you found a creative outlet. Is that correct?
So just before we were in the process of selling our house, I decided I wanted to be on TikTok. I don't know why I wanted to be on TikTok. I loved scrolling. Like, I really enjoyed it. And I was on Instagram a lot for my business, and I had a few followers, and it was, that was really fun for me. And I felt like I was quite good at talking on the camera. But then when I decided we need to make a journey of, a mum struggling as a business owner and a mum that had everything but wasn't happy, I knew that there was other people like that out there. So I just started to kind of show our selling process and packing our life up in Australia and then moving to Germany. I had so many videos that went viral when I first came to Germany, because I believe it was like a new and exciting journey for a lot of people to be like, oh my gosh, an Australian family moved to Germany. Firstly, how crazy are you? Why are you moving to Germany? And secondly, they just wanted to see our journey. But then it started to just drop. And I was like, what is happening? This is not fun. And my goal was to get to 10K, because it was something I needed to prove myself that I wasn't a failure. Even though, I didn't really fail in the business. I made beautiful designs. I didn't fail there. I just failed in my goal that I wanted to create a successful business. And I wanted to prove myself that I am not a failure. And getting to 10K on TikTok was something that I needed to do just to prove myself. I wasn't getting any money from it. I wasn't getting much from TikTok, but it was just getting to that 10K mark. And I hit it 2 days ago.
Yay!
Amazing.
Woohoo!
Yeah, we celebrated that in the office. That was so special.
Can I just jump in on a few things there? So the first thing is I want to bring up something that you said in a TikTok, which was having it all is a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's a bumper sticker. Number one, having it all is a lot. And I think what you've done is actually be really brave. And as Caroline said, looking at your life values is the first step of creating your vision board, because your vision board should only be what's relevant for you, right? And so what you have done is essentially followed that process of being an interior design business owner, living in Mackay. That's, I think, especially looking like your older sister, that's what I was doing. It's well, that's what Maddie wants, but that's not what my version of success is. And so it's actually quite brave to then go out and be like, nah, I don't want that.
Yeah.
I want to do something else.
And especially we got raised from a family that had a painting business, and my grandpa had a painting business, and all our family members had businesses. And I thought, okay, that's normal for me to have a business. That's what I've got to do. And me breaking that cycle, and it doesn't mean I'm never going to have a business again. I want to definitely have a business again, but breaking that cycle early on in my life to repair myself and get mentally strong and get a relationship with my husband again and a relationship with my kids is so important to structure yourself before you start a business. You're not going to jump in when you're mentally unstable before and make a business, because you're going to become mentally unstable when you have a business, right?
Doesn't it remind you of the whole dating thing? You need to love yourself before you can go and love someone else. It's you need to have you know what? It's got to do with the whole idea of, people sometimes start a business in order to prove their worth and prove their success, but you actually need to have that inner worth before you start a business in order to be successful. Yeah. You're a genius.
I know, right?
Even being on the journey to self-love, you don't have to have it all figured out, because it's a lifetime journey. But I think that resonated me with parenthood too. I have a small child now, and I started my kind of mental wellness journey when I was 30. I had him at 32, and holy moly, has it tested everything that I've learned. But because I had started that journey,
You were.
I feel like I'm a better parent because of it.
Yeah. Well, I say to my friends, because they're all starting to have kids now, make sure your mental health is intact, because you're going to get worse when you have kids. You're going to be sleep deprived. Things are going to come up from your childhood that you never knew was there. And you're going to, it's a lot being a mother and a parent. So you have to just sort yourself out before you jump into something massive. And it's the same with business as well.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I love what Maddie pointed out too, is having it all is a lot. I had a therapist tell me, like, you can have it all, but you need the support to do it. It doesn't mean you need to do it all to have it all too. And I think that's a really good distinction there.
Well, we had a big house, 2.5 acres, a guest house, a shed. We had a caravan, 2 cars, beautiful kids, a business. My husband had a good job, and it was just too much. It was too much to do. And then we moved to Germany, and we lived in this like flat right at the top floor. It had 3 rooms, a bathroom that had like a sloping roof, and also the kitchen was tiny. But we were the happiest as a family that we've ever been in our whole life. And I was the happiest I've ever been, or I am the happiest I've ever been living in that small unit. And it was crazy. We didn't need much. We came over with 5 suitcases, but you don't need much to live a happy life.
Hold on though, because I want to challenge you on that. The reason why you found this happiness is because you're now living in alignment with your values. For someone like me, on the other hand, where I am, I'm in my dream house now, but I want to live in a castle.
Yeah, I do too.
I want to rattle around. Like, my alignment and my values thing, that's different again. So I think it's like, I feel like I would be miserable.
No, what it is, and what me and my husband were saying, it's a restart on life. It's a restart that we don't need that juicer, but we grew up thinking that we needed this juicer. It's that restart of figuring out what actually you need in life. We want a castle too. We want 1 million cars. We want a lot of things, but we just needed to be restarted in life. And we created values that we actually wanted, not the values that we thought we needed and what society told us we needed.
Yeah.
As well.
What my mother-in-law says is if you're not happy in a tent, you're not going to be happy in a castle. And I think that's the point. It's not, Maddie, it's not the house that's making you happy. It's the life that you're creating that's making you happy, and then that's enhancing your life.
I'm particularly allergic to tents, though. No, I know, I do. I know what you're saying.
But if you were in your castle but didn't have your business that was like fulfilling the creative side of you, you probably wouldn't be happy either. It's not just the castle, it's all these other things in your life.
I'm going to say, like, I wasn't always happy there because we were like, what are we doing? There's no direction that we're going. Like, we were trying to figure our life out whilst we're there. But it's kind of like, when people go do wellness retreats, or people need to go to rehab for a month, like a few months. That's literally what we were doing. We were going to rehab, figuring out what we need in life and getting mentally better. We came to Germany, and we both, my husband and I both promised ourselves that we have to become better people after we leave. And that was our main goal for the whole time being in Germany, was to become better people. So he needed to get his stuff sorted, and I needed to get my stuff sorted.
I think, like, and this again, it ties into everything that we go into the mindset, which is this subconscious reprogramming work. You essentially had to unravel all of these learned stories, these learned behaviors, these learned values that you'd inherited from parents, from friends, from me, from other people around you. You essentially, when you say a reset, it's like you have to go back to your authenticity at its core. And I guess obviously going overseas and doing it that way, like, that's a fun way to do it. Not everyone has that opportunity, and you don't have to do it to the extreme that we tend to do things. But it's like, even just, I guess, on like, because what I want to do, I really want to make it clear to people listening. It's like, you don't have to sell your life and move overseas in order to have these revelations, because we've actually gone through a very similar journey, but I've stayed here at home, and I've stayed in my business, and I've done it as I was going at the same time. And I'm not sure, like, Either is great.
So Max, what I want to get into is you've pursued happiness on your own terms and you've told that through a creative format of TikTok. So I want to talk a bit about your TikTok journey and your content creation journey and how it's brought you to be the content specialist here at Birdcage as well.
So as I said, I started at the end of 2022 and it was just very casual, what I do in a day as a mum and a business owner. And then when we moved to Germany in 2023, that's when I started how to live in Germany and stuff like that. And I felt like there was not much views on that. Like I could have just spoken in a way negatively about Germany. I love Germany, but living there, it's hard.
We should also clarify we are 100% German.
We're German. I love Germany. But I just started to get too much hate online about speaking about my experience in Germany. So when I was growing through my mindset and I was wanting to show people the changes that I was making in my mindset, I wanted to kind of tell people about this because I know I'm not the only one in the world that has this problem. And I am going to add, I've got also ADD and dyslexia. So that's another thing that I wanted to kind of show people that it's okay to have it and this is how I make it better. And then in September, Maddie came to Germany to visit and travel. And she was like, oh, I really need someone to help me with my content. And I was like, I don't know.
I brought you on as an admin person.
Yeah, but in the beginning you were like, I really want something. And then it didn't really happen. After you came back, you really didn't know what you wanted. And then as Maddie does, she needed some time to process. And then she just goes, Max, I'm really struggling. Can you help me with admin whilst I'm finding someone? And I was like, yeah, I'm your sister. Like, I need to help you. Of course, I was happy to do it for free because that's what we do for each other. But then, she was happy to pay me. So I was like, of course. And then she just kept moving me along because I'm not very good at admin. I am, but it was just hard for me. And then she kept pushing me on to different kind of tasks. And then she was like, can you just edit this video from the school? And I was like, yeah, no worries. And I'm really interested to actually learn about the school. And I was like learning all about the school and top of funnel, bottom funnel and all this. And then mindset, it was really interesting for me. And then she saw my edits and she's like, Max, you're really good at editing. You edit the exact same way as me. So she jumped me into doing TikToks for her. And there I am. And it is because of me doing my own TikTok. I would have never thought that I was going to be a content specialist. And it was because of TikTok. So thank you, TikTok. And I learned so much from editing all her content from the school. So that's how I actually learned how to do marketing. I never had done a marketing course. So editing a school, I was able to kind of learn how to actually market. And then, of course, using my creative brain, it's kind of the same side that you have to use for interior designs.
I love that. And then has that helped your TikTok as well? Is that what helped you reach 10K, do you think?
Yeah. So figuring out my audience, that was the biggest thing. I didn't really know my audience. My TikTok actually started with the Edwards Journal. And I was journaling our process as a family in Germany. And then when we decided to move, I'm like, this needs to change. We're not getting many followers. And then I spoke with Maddie and I looked back at the school and I was like, what do I actually have to do to create this 10K and above? And I applied a few bits like, the top of funnel, the middle of funnel. Obviously, I'm not selling anything, but I'm selling myself and my story. And it's the same thing that you have to do with any marketing. If you're selling yourself or selling something, that funnel is so important, and the mindset as well. And then, of course, how to film. You need good quality film and good quality voiceover and engaging content. If it's not engaging, you're not going to get anywhere.
For sure. I agree. I think this is what a lot of personal brands struggle with. They sometimes dismiss us because they think, oh, it's only for businesses. And to be fair, we do target businesses through our marketing, but really if you're a personal brand as well, you need to know the same principles. Top of funnel, you need to know how to get attention. Yeah. And middle of funnel, you know how to build trust. And then eventually what I'm excited for, Max, is to see, obviously you have this role here and I never want you to leave me, But I do see there is potential for you to evolve and to grow and to, who knows what it's going to create. Like, you could create courses, you could create a product, you could get more brand sponsorships, you could do anything as a result of this TikTok and having this engaged audience.
Yeah, exactly. Look what I've got from it only being 10K. And it's only going to grow because I'm only going to get better. And you see a lot of creators and they've just, from 10K to 20K, their quality of work is so much better. And then also their confidence. And I think it's all about the confidence. Sometimes I see a creator and they've done this amazing post and I'm like, oh, I want to see her more of a page. She's only got 2,000 followers. And I'm like, she is so confident. It looks like she's been doing these TikToks for years, but she hasn't. And it's the confidence that you have. And it's I know myself and I know what I want and I know my audience. And that is so important.
That just reminded me about the activation that we have in the school, the content creator activation.
Oh, yes.
So that's in the mindset section of the full library of the Birdcage Marketing School. Maddie's actually done some, would you call it subconscious reprogramming?
I call them audio activations because I don't want to scare people away with hypnosis or meditations. I like to say they're meditations for people who can't meditate. But this content creator activation, you do it before you have to go and film. So ideally you're batch filming content, but even if you're just filming one, you go and do this. I think it's only like, how long is it? Like 5 minutes? I think it's 5-minute activation.
Yeah.
You listen to it and the idea is that it's kind of like mental rehearsal, like what pro athletes do, where you envision the result that your content is going to have on your audience before you actually film it. And feedback we had when we even just first launched these activations from established creators in the school, they said that it's actually made a huge difference to their own confidence and they have no doubt that it's translated into more engagement as well.
Yeah, it's amazing. And Maddie's like, you need to go listen to it because she was the one editing it. And then I was like, I can't listen to my sister's voice. This is ridiculous. I listen to you all day editing your videos and now I have to listen to you whilst I'm like before I film a TikTok. And it actually works. It honestly does. And I find myself, I've been doing some like dancing around voice, like lip singing, because I think they're so fun, and showing my outfits. And the ones that I'm not confident in, I'm like, yuck. Like, you have to be so confident and so, you're coming through someone's screen and you're vibing with this person, and this person that's watching you might be having a bad day, and your video might be the one that lifts them up, or your story might be the one that lifts them up. So it's all about the confidence, guys.
I agree.
So I guess, Max, what's next? Moving to New Zealand.
Yeah, so my husband got a yacht broking job in New Zealand and we're moving, and my family is not happy about that, but we've got to do what we've got to do, right? So I am just going to be creating content for Birdcage. We've got really exciting plans happening, and we are just going to, rule the world with Birdcage marketing.
Absolutely.
And yeah, with my TikTok, I'm just going to keep growing it. Obviously, there's going to be a story about us relocating now to New Zealand and obviously settling in to our new house, the kids into school, and I'm going to do that process. And then obviously myself, I really want to show people how to become happier because I know how now and I want to share it.
I reckon there's a course that's inside of her that needs to come out. That's what I'm going to push her towards.
So Max, I just have a final question for you. I want to know, what were the actions or habits or steps you took to really shift your mindset from that really, low struggling place to this place of feeling empowered and like you're living the life that you've always wanted to live?
So as I said, it was a promise for myself to get better and my mindset to get better. So I didn't really know how to start. Like, Maddie did courses and everything like that. And she's like, oh, I can refer you to that. But I think I needed my own journey. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. When I was editing Maddie's mindset course in Birdcage marketing, I subconsciously just learnt. I didn't mean to learn, but I just subconsciously heard her pointers. She's told me all this before, but I think I just needed to be not noticing that I'm actually taking anything in.
She doesn't want to actively listen to me, so I forced her to.
Yeah, it was all her plan. And then I think I might have just started to use those kind of techniques of making sure like your mind is speaking kindly to you. Like I used to be calling myself, I'm stupid, I'm dumb, all this. If something little happened, I used to just repeatedly just say that in my mind. And techniques like understanding that, yeah, okay, that voice is there, but you want to say goodbye, farewell, I don't need you today. And making that a habit that you're going to get rid of this voice. That was the biggest thing, I think. I did find some more fake, like our family's Catholic, and I found that back in Germany because Germany is such a Catholic country. So I was able to kind of understand, you know, it's the same thing as spirituality. Everything happens for a reason. It's going to all happen the way it needs to happen. And that's how I've kind of flown through life now. So just that inner voice needed to go. And I got there, and now I'm just a relaxed person that just figures out what's going to happen whenever it needs to happen.
Rolls with the punches.
Yeah.
So you're open and trusting the process
Yes.
now, while also adding positive self-talk and like backing yourself.
Exactly right. Thanks to my sister. I mean, she told me this many years ago, but yeah.
We also need to be in the right time and the right
Yes.
place to hear it. Yeah. And that's why I think it's important to invest in mentors and coaches and programs, because your bestie and your husband or your sister could tell you all these things, but you need to be receptive for it in order for it to actually work.
And I was ready to grow at that point.
Yeah.
And my sister wasn't there to kind of help me in that kind of way because she was in Australia and I was in Germany. So the course helped me because I was able to actually take things in, and my brain wanted to. So that's why I was able to make the changes. Thanks to my sister, but I also did the work for myself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks so much for being so vulnerable today
Yeah.
and sharing your story with us. And we're so happy to have you on the team. And I'm so happy to see you in real life.
I know. I feel like I know you already. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing a womb with me.
Not at the same time.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing parents.
That's all right. Thanks for having me.